Imagine a place on Earth where ice is so old that it remembers a time before humans existed. A place so cold that your breath freezes before it can escape your lips. A land so mysterious that even today, with all our satellites and technology, it still keeps secrets buried miles beneath frozen silence. Antarctica is not just a frozen desert at the bottom of the world. It is a giant time capsule, a climate machine, and one of the most misunderstood places on our planet. But here's the shocking part most people never think about. Antarctica wasn't always this frozen. Long ago, it was green. It had rivers, forests, and maybe even dinosaurs walking across its land. So the real question isn't just why Antarctica is covered in ice. The real question is how did an entire continent transform into the coldest place on Earth, and why has it stayed frozen for millions of years? What forces were strong enough to lock a whole continent in ice? And what happens if that ice ever disappears? By the end of the story, Antarctica will never feel like just a white patch on the map again. To understand why Antarctica is covered in ice, we have to travel back in time, not hundreds or thousands of years, but tens of millions of years. Antarctica used to sit in a very different position on Earth. Our planet's surface is broken into massive pieces called tectonic plates, and these plates slowly move over time. Millions of years ago, Antarctica was much closer to the equator. That meant warmer temperatures, sunlight for a longer period, and a climate capable of supporting life. Fossils discovered there prove this. Scientists have found fossilized plants, tree rings, and even dinosaur remains. This tells us Antarctica once had forests and flowing rivers. It was alive. But Earth is never still. Over millions of years, Antarctica slowly drifted south. As it moved closer to the South Pole, sunlight became weaker. Winters grew longer, summers became shorter. The balance between warmth and cold started to shift. At the same time, something even more powerful was happening deep within the oceans. Around 34 million years ago, Antarctica became completely isolated from other continents. South America and Australia drifted away, opening a massive ocean pathway around Antarctica. This allowed a powerful ocean current to form, known today as the Antarctic Circumpolar Current. This current is like a giant icy wall made of moving water. It circles Antarctica non-stop, blocking warm ocean water from reaching the continent. Once this current formed, Antarctica became cut off from the rest of the world's heat. This is one of the most important reasons Antarctica is covered in ice. Without warm ocean currents reaching its shores, the continent began cooling rapidly. Snow that fell during winters no longer fully melted during summers. Layer by layer, year after year, snow piled up. Over time, that snow compressed into ice. And once ice forms, it creates a dangerous feedback loop. Ice reflects sunlight. This is called the albedo effect. Dark surfaces like land or ocean absorb heat, but ice reflects it back into space. As Antarctica became more icy, it reflected more sunlight, making the continent even colder. That cold allowed more ice to form, which reflected even more sunlight. This cycle locked Antarctica into a frozen state. But here's something shocking. Antarctica doesn't get the most snowfall on Earth. In fact, it's technically a desert. Some areas receive less snowfall than parts of the Sahara receive rain. So how did it build ice sheets miles thick? The answer lies in time. Even tiny amounts of snow, when they don't melt for millions of years, can become massive ice sheets. Antarctica has had time a lot of time. Gravity also plays a role. The ice in Antarctica is so heavy that it pushes the land beneath it downward. Some parts of the continent are actually below sea level because of the weight of the ice. This creates a strange situation where if the ice melted, the land would slowly rise again, but that process would take thousands of years. Another reason Antarctica stays frozen is its extreme elevation. Much of the continent sits high above sea level. Higher elevation means thinner air, and thinner air holds less heat. Even during summer, temperatures rarely rise above freezing in most areas. The sun may shine for 24 hours a day, but it doesn't provide enough energy to melt the thick ice. Then there's the wind. Antarctica has the strongest winds on Earth. Cold, dense air flows down from the interior of the continent toward the coast, creating katabatic winds that can reach hurricane speeds. These winds remove any heat that tries to settle and keep the environment brutally cold. And yet, Antarctica still surprises scientists. Beneath the ice, there are lakes, liquid water lakes hidden under miles of frozen ice warmed by heat from the Earth's core. One of them, Lake Vostok, has been sealed off from the surface for millions of years. Scientists believe life could exist there, completely isolated from the rest of the world. Imagine organisms surviving in total darkness, under crushing pressure, without sunlight. Antarctica isn't dead, it's just hidden. Now here's where things get unsettling. Antarctica holds about 70% of the world's fresh water locked inside its ice. If all that ice melted, global sea levels would rise by about 200 feet. Entire cities would disappear, coastlines would be erased, millions of people would be displaced. Antarctica isn't just ice, it's a global safety lock. Climate change is now testing that lock. While much of Antarctica remains extremely cold, certain areas, especially West Antarctica and the Antarctic Peninsula, are warming faster than scientists expected. Ice shelves, which act like brakes holding glaciers back, are breaking apart. When those shelves collapse, glaciers behind them slide faster into the ocean, raising sea levels worldwide. What's scary is that some of this melting could be irreversible. Once certain ice sheets begin collapsing, stopping the process becomes almost impossible. Antarctica has been frozen for millions of years, but human activity is now changing the atmosphere in just a few decades. That imbalance is dangerous. But Antarctica is also resilient. Its core remains brutally cold. Its ice sheets are ancient and stubborn. The question isn't whether Antarctica will melt tomorrow. The real question is how much change it can handle before tipping points are crossed. There's also a mystery scientists still don't fully understand. Beneath parts of Antarctica, there are volcanoes. Yes, volcanoes under the ice. Some are active. Their heat can melt ice from below, weakening ice sheets silently. This hidden heat adds another layer of uncertainty to Antarctica's future. Antarctica is covered in ice because of its location, its isolation, its ocean currents, its elevation, and powerful feedback loops that lock it into a frozen state. But that ice tells a story. Each layer is a page from Earth's history. Trapped inside are air bubbles from ancient atmospheres, allowing scientists to see how Earth's climate changed over hundreds of thousands of years. In a strange way, Antarctica is like Earth's memory. It remembers climates we've never experienced. It remembers carbon levels long before factories and cars. And it's quietly responding to what we're doing now. That's what makes Antarctica so fascinating and terrifying at the same time. It feels distant, unreachable, and irrelevant to daily life. But in reality, what happens there affects everyone: the oceans, the weather, the future of coastlines. Antarctica may be far away, but it's deeply connected to us. As you think about this frozen continent, remember this: Antarctica didn't become icy overnight. It was a slow, unstoppable process shaped by forces far larger than humanity. And yet today, humanity is one of the forces shaping Antarctica's future. If this story made you see Antarctica differently, if it surprised you, shocked you, or made you curious, let us know in the comments. Share this video with someone who loves mysteries of our planet. And don't forget to engage so more people can discover how powerful, fragile, and incredible Antarctica truly is. Because sometimes the coldest places on Earth hold the hottest truths about our future.